Hi guys, my name's Hallie, and my story starts when I was a little girl. So, growing up, there was never a time when I didn't know who God was. I knew He was there and that He loved me, but I never really considered Him to be my father because I thought that I had an earthly dad for that. So, I never considered it. But my dad was always different than the other dads. He would be kind one minute and then scary the next, or he would be really close to us and then distant. My mom used to tell my big sister and I that whenever my dad was mean, that it wasn't really him, he was just sick. And I never really understood what that meant as a little girl, but I kind of started to figure it out when I was about 8 years old. The summer before my third grade year, my sister and I were in a car accident, and my sister died. That kind of changed my dad. He was finally kind of willing to admit that maybe there was something wrong with him after my sister had died, and he was finally diagnosed with Huntington's disease. Huntington's is a neurological degenerative disorder, and it's genetic. So that means that my sister and I both had a 50% chance of inheriting the gene. When my dad was diagnosed, I didn't really know what that meant for my family, but the older I got and the worse my dad became, the more I realized that Huntington's was really going to mess up our lives. By the time I reached my freshman year of high school, his hands twitched and his words slurred, and he stumbled when he walked. I spent a lot of time staring at his hands and then back at mine, just trying to make sure that mine didn't twitch like his did, and I selfishly distanced myself for a while because I was so afraid that one day I would end up like him. The summer before my junior year, my dad died, and my life changed. It was in the darkest of times that I heard God speaking to me, and He called me His child. I wasn't fatherless. I was never fatherless. I had a heavenly Father who loved me perfectly and so much more than my earthly father ever could have, even with a perfect mind. He thought I was worth death. He sent His only Son to die for me and to take my place, and that is worse than any pain I could ever endure on this planet. One of my friends told me that God never promised us our health, and she was right. He didn't. But He did promise us companionship and protection, and He promised that He would never leave us. He promised me that I would be so much more than a statistic, that no matter the uncertainty of my future, that I'm His, and that He won't leave me. There's a Bible verse that I always look at when I'm having a hard time, and it's Psalm 91:4, and it says, He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. And that's true. God has never left me. For 16 years, I was lost, and He found me, and He called me His. And that's been my 180 difference. I used to be lost, but I'm not anymore. I'm found.